Crystal Palace, a club that has languished in usually the bottom half of the English Premier League for their entire existence. Not a big club, not a glamorous club, not doing a whole lot of winning. Had a very successful season, qualified for Europa, and they have been denied. And the reason is absolutely ridiculous. And this is something that FIFA has got to fix. As you can see here, soccer's crown jewels are devouring smaller clubs. So what does that mean? 2024-25 soccer season was a fairy tale for Crystal Palace, an unglamorous team from South London, which habitually occupies the lower reaches of the English Premier League. Buoyed by an affable Australian coach, blah, blah, blah. They beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final. Club's first major trophy in its 120-year history. Absolutely phenomenal, incredible story. That is the type of sports story that becomes a movie. It's one of those where say, you couldn't write this. If it was fiction, no one would believe it. And yet, unfortunately, while it would have meant qualification for the Europa League, the second-tier European competition underneath the Champions League, this, of course, would have given Crystal Palace more revenue, more prestige, maybe higher quality talent that would sign with Crystal Palace. But guess what, folks? No, they will not be playing in Europa. And why? Because a French club, Olympique, I believe it's Line A. I'm not even going to try because I'm not French. I don't speak French. They qualified as well. So, well, why does that mean Crystal Palace can't make it? Because they're both owned by the same person, U.S. businessman John Textor. And the rules, European soccer rules, prevent two clubs belonging to the same owners from playing in the same competition. And Lyon got the nod because it finished in a higher position in its own domestic league, which is ridiculous. Crystal Palace fans were furious, and rightfully so. And the club appealed and lost. And so now it has to accept playing in the minor Europa Conference League. This is absolutely ridiculous. Here is how you fix this, FIFA, but you don't have the guts to do it because it's all about money for you. You do not allow multiple owners in the same sport. Period. Why? Because as we know, soccer being a global sport is very different. Football, now I'm sure football, basketball, right? There are leagues, other places, there are professional leagues in Europe for basketball and so forth. But basically it is the NBA, right? It is the NFL. It is Major League Baseball. And those teams don't finish in a position and then have another competition going on simultaneously the next year with teams in other leagues, the way soccer does, right? You've got all these, well, it's not even just the big five, but you've got all these professional leagues and all of these teams that qualify for the Champions League the next season, for Europa the next season, right? You have Bundesliga and La Liga and Serie A and League One and the English Premier League. And you have a lot of these teams that play each other. And so it's kind of the equivalent of the NFL. You don't have owners who own multiple NFL teams. You don't have owners who own multiple NBA teams or multiple Major League Baseball teams. But FIFA won't put their foot down there. And so what you have now is you have these big clubs buying other teams that basically kind of act like the minor leagues for Major League Baseball. And it is ridiculous. It is going to be a problem, and it is a growing trend in soccer. Multi-club ownership, big firms buy up multiple teams in different leagues and roll them into portfolio. And then what you get is these lower tier teams. They're the ones where you take a risk, you put talent on these teams, you develop, and then the players that really, really develop and could become those stars for the big clubs, they get shuffled off to those big clubs. It is a feeder system, but it is a feeder system within the top tier professional leagues, which is absolutely ridiculous, and FIFA should not allow it. And it exposes this big growing gulf between these fans and these owners, because you're getting now a lot of owners who are not passionate about the sport. They're investing for other reasons. Supporters want success on the field, as it says here, and a connection with their players. Executives want each club to further the overall performance of the business, not necessarily win games. But here's the problem, and I don't know the details of all the leagues and all the world and this and that. But just speaking from an American standpoint with other leagues, is you have things that, like the NFL, the NBA, they have special carve outs. Okay, so because they're treated differently than a typical business, because of course the whole point of Major League Baseball or the NFL is not for teams to get market share where they're putting others out of business, like say Walmart and Target might try and do, or McDonald's and Burger King. Obviously, you can't have that. The league needs all of their teams, so it is a little different. But just to give you an example, City Football Club, one of the oldest and largest MCOs, they after buying Manchester City in 2008, they went on a multi-year spending spree acquiring teams in the U.S., Australia, Uruguay, Japan, Belgium, and others. This is wild. Where they could get away with it locally, CFG switched their club's kits to sky blue and redesigned their crests to create an overarching brand in line with that of Manchester City, the peak of the CFG pyramid. Most MCOs have a crown jewel at the top, explains Johan Rowilyak. I do not know. Apologies, Johan. A senior lecturer in sport management at England's Loughborough University. You have a group of teams at the bottom that find the players. That's kind of what I was just saying, right? In their local markets. Then you have teams slightly higher up that train and develop the players. And then the crown jewel, where the best players are transferred and where the MCO actually benefits from the players' best years. And it goes into talk about specific players and how that has happened. This is something, and I don't think they have the courage to do it because, well, we won't even get it into the corruption of FIFA in this, but this is obviously a massive problem. This is ridiculous that Crystal Palace had to deal with this. This is ridiculous that his fans had to deal with this. Again, FA Cup, first major trophy in Crystal Palace's 120-year history. And they do not get the benefit of it by playing in Europa the next season, all because their owner owns a club in another league in another country that finished higher in its own league. Absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. And I completely get why Crystal Palace fans would be upset. This is not something that should ever happen. It is something that FIFA should fix, but I do not have any confidence that FIFA would fix this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you checking this out. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. We are rolling rapidly to a World Cup being hosted in the United States this summer. Hopefully, y'all stick around for that, and I will talk to you later.